There is talk in the coaching industry about former UVA basketball coach Tony Bennett being a possible target for the San Antonio Spurs, who don't exactly have an official opening with their head coach position right now, but the writing seems to be on the wall with respect to Gregg Popovich. Chris Graham here, Augusta Free Press. Now, I can argue a million reasons why I don't see Bennett to San Antonio happening, but still, this story has traction behind the scenes, and that's an important note to say. The spin that I'm getting is that Bennett has the backing of the Spurs majority owner, a billionaire named Peter Holt. But there's not much on the interwebs about that, which is to say there's nothing on the interwebs about that. I'm being nice. I was told by one of my contacts, though, in the coaching business that a few months ago, the front office in San Antonio was considering Bennett maybe as an interim coach. When Popovich had to take the rest of the season off, he had a mild stroke back in November, had to take the rest of the season off to focus on his recovery. Now, I'm not seeing anything about Bennett as an interim coach on the Googler either. The thinking shared with me on this is, and let's call it a rumor, maybe even just baseless speculation, but it's again, it's made its way to me and it's, coming from interesting places, is that Bennett is viewed by the Spurs folks as a Popovich type leader. And it's his leadership qualities that will be the attraction to San Antonio's folks in the face of his utter lack of a coaching background in the NBA. Tony played 3 years in the NBA, but he's not coached there. Now, here's what I see. Tony Bennett, because of his lack of NBA coaching chops, will certainly have to hire a staff of NBA veteran assistants, and you have to lean on them to provide the X's and O's. There's no way his UVA offense and defense, the mover blocker offense, pack line defense, slow tempo would work in the NBA. I mean, do you see Victor Wembanyama running off screens or setting screens? No, you don't. Um, so in which case, why not just hire one of those NBA veteran assistants to be your head coach? What's getting thrown back to me on this point is that maybe Bennett has some ideas for adjusting his philosophies for the NBA game. My counterpoint on that is he left the college game because he either wasn't willing or able to adjust his basketball philosophies to make things work in the NIL portal era. And now we'd expect him to be able to do that for the NBA. Now the money is better, and it's a lot better in the NBA. It's not like $4 million a year, which is what Bennett was getting at UVA, is anything to sneeze at. But Gregg Popovich signed a 5-year extension back in 2023 for 16 million a year. Now he is a top of the line coach. It's not like if Tony Bennett gets offered an NBA job, he's getting 16 million a year, but 8, 9, 10, I can see that certainly. It's a lot more money than he was making at UVA. My final analysis here is I'd be shocked at anything beyond Bennett being quietly offered an NBA job so quietly that we'd never hear about it. That's where I am on this. I don't know that Tony Bennett is done coaching. He's 56 years old on June the 1st, so he has another 10 or 12 years left to do damage in D1. What I see happening, if anything, is that the NCAA finally figures out how to rein in the Wild West of the NIL and transfer portal. Bennett looks at that and says, I think I can do this again, and decides to make his return, and that will suck for us UVA basketball folks. That Tony Bennett will go somewhere else and win some games in the new NIL portal era. And it would hurt less if it was the NBA, but I just don't see that happening.